is Paul Gosling and I am a journalist. We are here today to recognise human rights and to confirm our support for the Good Friday Agreement. There is no greater breach of human rights than for one of our fellow citizens, to be killed on the streets of our places, of our cities. That is the most fundamental breach of human rights that is possible. And as a journalist, I mourn a fellow journalist this week. But more than that, I mourn the death of a young woman who is of roughly the same age as my own daughters, who was killed on the streets a 5-minute walk from my home. So I feel the suffering of the city of Derry, where I've come from this morning. But more than that, it must be a symbol of our determination to bring permanent peace and permanent justice to Northern Ireland. Democracy is a human right too. And actually, democracy is under threat. It's under threat around the world from the deaths of journalism, for the deaths of journalists, but it's also under threat because the truth is not being told. The fact, for example, that in Brexit that the truth was not told by the campaigns, either of the campaigns. And when democracy is undermined by lies being told, we need journalists to stand up to challenge those in power, to hold people accountable for the lies they tell. And that is the structure of society that we need, and that is the way that we need to change society. So we need honest journalists, challenging journalists such as Lyra. But more than that, we also need governments that tell the truth, that are committed to delivering truth and justice. And the neglect of the British government's responsibilities under the Good Friday Agreement is hurting us all. Where is our Secretary of State when we need a strong leader for Northern Ireland? How are we going to deliver permanent peace when our political leaders are not there to deliver it? I saw today a tweet from Michel Barnier from the European Union, and he expressed more compassion and more commitment to the Good Friday Agreement than I have seen in many a long time from anyone in the British government. And that is an absolute tragedy and an absolute dereliction of responsibility of our political leaders. Do they not have the capacity to do more than one thing at one time? They mess up Brexit and they don't have the capacity to do anything else properly. I am actually angry about the British government and its ignorance and its irritation and its failure to deliver on citizenship. We have a Home Office that does not believe in human rights, and that is completely unacceptable. We look at what's happened to the Windrush generation. We look what's happened in terms of citizens who are British citizens who've got no other citizenship, who've had that citizenship taken away, to be told that they have to rely on the citizenship of a country that they have never been to. This is not acceptable. We have had deportations of people. We have deportations of people in severe illness with Alzheimer's and other illnesses, simply because the Home Office is looking for any excuse to get people out of the country. We have problems also with settled status. My own children, two of my children, have to apply for settled status to continue to live in the country that they have lived in from almost all of their lives. This, for me, is not acceptable. But I tell you what's also not acceptable. It's not acceptable that the family of Julie Livingston can't learn the information about her own tragic death because the information files are being held secret until after her own family are dying. And what does this say about the commitment or lack of commitment of the British government to human rights? I am a British citizen. I do not have entitlement to Irish citizenship. But those who are here, who are Irish citizens, I believe that you have to look to your government to demand the rights of people in Northern Ireland from all communities in terms of what human rights should mean and how they should be valued. The hostile environment that the Home Office has overseen under the leadership initially of Theresa May is ignorant, it is oppressive, it is unfair, and it is wrong. And we have to say clearly we have to say clearly that we believe in human rights. We believe in the rights for gay people to be married. We believe in women's rights. and we believe that we have to have proper commitment to the Good Friday Agreement. We need that because we need the citizenship rights, whatever our background. We need the institutions to be functioning. We need civil society to be functioning. And we need the commitment of both governments. And actually, as a final word, I would say that actually, if we had a British government that was genuinely committed to sorting out these unresolved issues in Northern Ireland, they would stand up and say they can't do this. They need help, because the only occasions when we've had a settled peace in Northern Ireland is when we've sought help and obtained help with intermediaries. And we need someone here to help us. We need to sort this place out. We need to do that together, but we also need help, and we need to be able to say that. And finally, Emma, I support you. Thank you.